Tudor, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Tudor, you've had a fascinating career from IBM to BMO, Toronto Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, and now you have a commercial real estate company. So how do you go from this to that, and are they related in some way?
That's a great question. It's like in nature, everything is related. So, Creex, the company I'm in, Creex, it's a sort of a central point between analytics, data, and markets. And all my career, whatever I did, somehow flows to this point. So let me tell you the long story short. In the very beginning, I started working in the university. So in my previous life, how I like to say, I was teaching data science in a university back far away in Europe. And then in Canada, I practiced a little bit data science as well, like image analysis, whatever was around 2000. But then I had this opportunity joining a team in IBM. They were trying to design and build trading engines. This is how we named the systems running in the exchanges on Unix. So just to give you an idea, to say at the time when all the exchanges were running COBOL on mainframe, to say that you want to build something like this on Unix was blasphemy. It was not like vision, it was blasphemy. It was impossible. So I landed there because they were trying to put together a team with people coming from different fields. They wanted fresh minds. So this is how I landed there. I had a big success with whatever prototype we did. Then I moved to real life in Toronto Stock Exchange, where honestly I built three trading engines until the final one in 2007 was running in Canada, across Canada, actually. And in a couple of years in 2011, the next generation, the same one, built, designed by my team. And from there to Nasdaq, uh, again trading engines, and then coming back to analytics and AI. Now, in this journey, I had the big chance to meet really strong specialists, people who loved, who live because of their love to stock markets. You know what I mean, they knew technology, they knew business, they knew everything. So this is how I I learned things. They learned from me, and that's the technical story, so to speak. The philosophy around this, around how we got to Creex, is a little bit different. I can get into that stuff if you are interested.
So now, circling back to your own companies, now you have multiple companies.
Yes, I
You
do.
founded a couple of them. So can you tell us a bit what they are and why you moved, to start your business? Because that's a different challenge. Sure, you've worked in great companies, but starting your own is a different challenge.
It's
Can
a,
you talk
it
to us
is
a
it
bit
is
about it?
it is, and I can tell you a little. So I told you I worked in IBM.
Yeah.
IBM, it was the beginning. Toronto, in Nasdaq, so on in the bank here. But everywhere in all these companies, I was that kind of, I would say, entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Everywhere tried and I successfully led some new ideas. I just mentioned you about Unix in trading engines.
Mm.
I can tell you about AI, starting from ground zero up. Almost everywhere, I was the first member of the team. So I built some, in one case, a big department out of that stuff. So I had this spirit to look for funding, to look for ideas, and to try to get
Mm.
help in the company. It's a different type of help you need from executive. I had great executive support. You know what I mean? So in a way, and you know what? The latest after AI, I owned AI in various companies. I had to go inside of the companies to find clients. So it was like an entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? So that move, I liked to do new ideas and stuff, to face the opposition, because every time, so this at this point I came when I said, you know what, I waited for so many years for AI, for data science to be mainstream. Right now is the point. I waited for so much. I wanted to build trading gains. I successfully built, but look here, right now is the moment to do this stuff. So that was the point when I decided, you know what I mean? Let's try get on my own. You know what I mean? So this is how I started Axomath Research, which is focusing on AI and analytics. And I tend to have clients from non-financial sectors, which is
Mm.
interesting. So real estate, which is part of it, healthcare systems. Um, and Creex. Creex is the data analytics and marketplace, which is a special type of startup, I would say.
So do you target all kinds of industries with because obviously data and analytics can be implemented pretty much everywhere. So are you open to many industries or you just focus on real estate or like financial companies? Like
No,
who's your target
yeah,
market?
my target is it's a horizontal market. I'm targeting startups. So I would like to work with startup early stage or maybe one step after early stage, you know what I mean? That's my definite target. Startups. Because in startup why I bring it with my partners, we bring value because we have, and I have a lot of experience in the big companies where you have structure, you have this, you have that. But as well, because my entrepreneurship stuff, I have the experience of moving things fast. And I feel like bringing a little bit of corporate, but the good part of the corporate, everything is good in corporate because the size is different. I'm not being that vision from corporate down to a startup brings a lot of value brings a lot of value. I You see many times startups just going off road because too much enthusiasm, which is transforms from enthusiasm to a Brownian move. Sometimes
Mm,
people just running left and right without a clear framework. So
purpose.
that's my answer. The short answer is I'm targeting the horizontal stuff, the startup.
So Tudor, if I'm a startup, what can I expect from you? What's the real value that gets here? Because let's be clear, there's so many companies that nowadays, with the hype, that consultants that come in that provide theories and what could be done, but nothing practical. And startups usually are short on cash. So what's
Yes.
the real value you provide to startups?
Yeah. So I can tell you, let's say I'm just picking one of them, one of my recent examples. One, organizing and building up a team. And that be probably more important than you think to bring cohesion, to bring target, to bring strategy to a team. Usually the startups work with this agile. The agile product where you have like a
Yeah.
2 weeks. Just to give an example, we are having a 2 weeks every 2 week a deliver, whatever sprints. You know what? Bringing milestones, learning, teaching them that you have to have a milestone in 2 months, and all your effort should not be targeting what you do the next 2 weeks, but having in mind what you have to deliver in 2 months is a big gain. It's a big thing. You know what I mean? This is one example. The second one is well, bringing experience because if I say I saw, I didn't count, but I saw probably not for sure hundreds, I'm not sure if thousand projects, with tons of examples of tons of situations that happens here and there. You know what I mean? In one of the company, they want to do something data related. Guess what? I can compare four cases, similar cases which happened in the past, and I can bring whatever worked for one, didn't work for another one. You know what I mean? This is one thing. And the second one, because I'm half of from my old time, I'm hands-on, when it comes to data science.
Yeah.
I'm that kind who actually can write down and write a nice algorithm. I have tons of patents, by the way, you know what I mean? So including in AI. So I can bring really, really smart value, I think. So this is what people expect. And usually they have a problem and I solve their problem. This is how I start collaborating with startups.
Mhm. I mean, you definitely have the credentials. And I feel like if, people are starting a new company and they want someone with a lot of experience in the market, you definitely fit the bill. because I mean it doesn't get bigger than Nasdaq, Toronto Stock Exchange, IBM, the big banks. You've seen it all. And the I think the most interesting part here is that you're technically have always been an entrepreneur within a company because you build your team, you build a product, you deploy it, you test it. So you were kind of managing your on your own, but always in the umbrella of a company. So it makes a lot of sense for you to branch out and really start something of your own. So what about Creex? Let's talk about that.
I can tell you clear. So it's a, let's say, the problem. The problem is something, and I'll put it philosophically, to have a nice thing. So, in North America, at least, we have very powerful stock markets in the United States, a lot in Canada as well. So, across the globe. So, stock market in my vision, it's this vision is for like many, many, many years, is a very how to say, it's a very precise representation of the world. So whatever happens in the world will happen in the stock market without fake news. The stock market we manipulate money. A lot of smart people are there. If let's say you have a flood somewhere, that will impact the certain crop production. Let's say, then you have a political event that will impact something else. Whatever happens in the world, if that is not fake news, it will reflect in the stock market. That's the first part of the story. And the second part of the story is the stock market reacts very fast. We are talking about seconds, sometimes minutes, never days. You know what I mean? It's there are fluctuations, there is volatility. People understand maybe things differently, but after a while, all the common minds, will establish the price based on the understanding, the open understanding of what happens. So because of this, the stock market has this kind of amazing technology. You remember the algorithmic trading, or you have even now the AI. It's a very well kept secret. Everybody keeps. They use AI. They use everything to react automatically to whatever happens around, to take decision, to buy, sell, to adjust the price. And on top of it, there are a lot of financial products, derivative options. You can borrow shares to just get the dividends and then send them back. You can buy and repurchase after that. So there's a lot of smart products around the stock market. This is one part of the story. On the other part, on the other end, you have the commercial real estate, which is a humongous, a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about tens of portfolios of tens of billions, if not trillions of dollars, and this part of the industry, even it's important, it's part of portfolio, it's extremely slow. They cannot react in seconds to sell and buy buildings if, let's say, the price goes up and down. No, we're talking about deals, and the deals can go like for a year and a half. It's a big industry. It's a very responsible because a lot of money are there, definitely. People know they're whatever they are doing, but the technology is like ancient. The speed is as I said. Okay. So Creex comes, tries to bring together these things to say, what if we build a marketplace in the commercial real estate? What if we offer them the possibility to move fast? Maybe not as fast as equities, but much, much faster than today. And to do that, we have to give them a marketplace. We have to give them tools. We have to give them data and to give them analytics, exactly what they have in the stock market. So this is where Creex is coming, bringing this stock market, so to speak, in commercial real estate. It's a very ambitious project, but it's smart. I have, my luck here is that I have a brilliant mind. My partner, Richard Simon, I worked with them before. He's the CEO. We are co-founders, both of us. He knows commercial estate in and out. I know the trading engine in and out. So I think we are very strong partnership here. So this is the Creex. This is where the Creex is coming from.
I mean, you said it yourself. That's extremely ambitious. I mean, you're trying to completely change the way people invest in real estate. It's just I'm just thinking here. So let me be the
Maybe,
devil's
maybe,
advocate.
maybe I want to, sorry, I have to,
Yeah,
how to say, maybe we don't want to change because that's a problem. We don't want to, people are doing things at a scale in a way. We
yeah.
don't want to change. I would say we want
Great.
to bring something else on top of
Okay.
what they do. You know what I mean? Yes, they will continue to do things because there's big industry infrastructure out there, but we're going to bring something on top of it. You know, their ability to maybe a part of their portfolio to be treated in a different way.
Let me ask you this. So, don't you think inside the stock market there are some ways to be able to invest in real estate?
Yes,
Do
yes,
you
there
feel that
is.
contradicts the concept you have, or they're not really
It's
related?
it's complementary. There is industry, so Uh, you can buy shares. There is the real estate is covered somehow on the real estate market,
Yeah.
but it's not covered the way we want to put it. The way we want to put it is actually basic changing the ownership of the building, of part of the building. You know what I mean? It's not like replacing it with share entry. No,
Yeah.
it's about we have many things I cannot disclose yet. We are like half in the stealth mode, but yes, there is a difference. And once you go inside, you'll see the difference. You'll see the difference of basically moving the asset from one hand to another one. That's the big difference.
Yeah, you know what?
But the
There's
question is
this
very good. Your question is perfect. Your question is perfect. Yes.
Tudor, there's so many questions here, but for the sake of time, I'm going to refocus on you a bit.
Okay.
What has been the most challenging part of being for real this time, being the owner of your company? Like, what are the challenges you haven't faced while being inside a corporation? Something that that you weren't trained to do that you face.
Yeah. There are two things now, but the first one is uh, is the marketing and making yourself known outside in the wild. you know in the company is different. You have
Mhm.
tools, you have channels to make yourself known inside. You know where to go, who to go, the org, it's even if the company is big, if it's a 50,000 people, but still it's 50,000 here. Making yourself, known out there, it's a big challenge. This how I find it. And the second challenge, of course, is the funding. But in a way, the funding I put like the second biggest challenge because in many ways I went through this stuff in entrepreneurship because inside of the big corporation the same. You ask for money for project, you support your case, you push back, you
Yeah.
sometimes you have to trade off to compromise. That's the biggest challenge I thought. It's a good
You know,
question.
you know what? I've never heard that. I've talked to a lot of people, and this is the first time I hear something that makes a lot of sense, which is when you're inside an organization, you can just open up the directory and find anyone. And it's so easy to connect with people, even if it's a huge organization and you're not even in the same divisions or teams. So that's a very good point. And so, as someone who's been in the field of analytics and AI for so long, are you optimistic about what's coming next? Are you a bit afraid of how fast things are changing, or do you see this as like the age of abundance, as people call it, coming soon?
You know what? I am biased here, and I am biased because I am a big proponent of the progress of the technological progress. I am big proponent. I think I think what's coming will will have plus and minuses. Will be
Hmm.
volatility, but I think the new technology, and if we talk about AI, maybe quantum, which is after the corner, it will bring many, many, many things. I mean, look back in the whole history, whoever had the technology advancement was better than their neighbors. The generation that had technology was better than the previous ones. So I think AI will bring us like solving health problem, maybe help solving the government issues with a lot of AI assistance from AI. So generally speaking, I think we have to be careful, of course, there's no doubt. The same way, you know what? Think about when we moved from horses to cars. Everybody said we are going to lose people who take care about horses. They will be out of job. They won't be. But look here, how much in car industry is something like billion times higher than horse industry. But we had to improve to have rules. We have to put driver license. We had to put streets. You have to put signs. You know, traffic lights and this and that. So we had to come with some guardrails about the cars. I think this will happen to AI as well. My answer would be I'm very optimistic of what is gonna come.
Tudor, thank you so much for your time. This
Oh,
was a fascinating
thank you for
discussion.
having me. Yes, no, it's great.
A-
Yes, great being here.
And I'm really looking forward to see how your companies will evolve in the future. It's very
I'll let you
promising.
know. We'll be in sync. Yes.
All right. See ya.
See you.